When Cliff does a lap, even his glory lap, he goes right around the boundary, even if it means ducking through his guard of honour. He once played football for Beach Forest. He wasn't any good. Now he's in the VFL, and Geelong's found him a Guernsey with just the right number. While Geelong, without Cliff, battles against the Sydney Swans, the Swans' #1 member is addressing a function inside the boardroom.
Thank you very much for the welcome and the warmth of your welcome. I suppose it's not often when a Prime Minister comes to an event that he should take second place, but I believe very much today that I should take second place to Cliff Young. I had the opportunity of meeting him, and what a great Australian he is, a remarkable man, and I know that Cliff, that I speak for everyone in congratulating you. You really, in a very short time, established yourself as one of the really great Australians of all time, and it's not just the performance, but the character that you've showed in it, Cliff. It's fantastic.
And welcome to the Magna, episode 10. 10 years or 10 shows, I'm not sure, but anyhow, we've made it to 10.
Who would have thought?
We would have thought.
If we were dogs, we'd be like 70 years old by now, or 70 dog years.
Just about.
I'd be like Jack Dyer, and you could be like Lou Richards or something like that.
I'd just like to thank Major Tom for all their video, live streaming, podcasts, editing, marketing via all social media platforms for business and influencers. Joining me tonight, the hairy chef, and he looks pretty schmick tonight. What's going on? Had a bit of a shave?
Whoa, just, yeah, I had one the first time in about 9 months.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the girls on the show tonight. And I've got cologne on as well. Yes.
Cologne. Very schmick.
Yeah, we've gone past the days of Brute 33 and Blue Stratos.
Oh, you have. You've moved on.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Miranda Accounting for their sponsorship tonight for all your tax needs. Get on to Miranda Accounting. We're going to speak to the girls a little bit later. Isn't it fantastic to have a live audience in here tonight? How good is this?
It's not too bad. I can't believe I've actually missed these blokes.
Yeah, you can hear the buzz in the background. Fantastic.
The boys are here.
Turn the camera around. They're all. I've put all the boys on LSD.
LSD?
That is a Legends social distancing.
Fair enough.
The LSD, I love it. So I've got Codge to turn the camera around. And again, it's our 10th show, 10 years.
Close enough.
Seems like 10 years. Yeah, it seems like 10 years, just 10 shows. Just a few Cheerios tonight as well. I've mainly do this for a few weeks. So Cheerio to Timmy Best, one of our under-17 players. I know he's having some family issues out there. I always see him on Facebook. Good on you, Tim.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Catch up with you soon, mate.
Stay strong.
Yeah, stay strong. Thanks to the Moon Boys last week. What a show that was. Another late one.
Was another late one.
Yeah.
They could have talked about 3 days.
I know. And they gave us a 40-1 winner tip, and a few of the boys got on it.
I think Thwaites was on there, and a few of the boys
on it.
cleaned
Yeah.
up.
Smuts told me he was on it. So. Yeah, so fantastic. Thanks for the tip, boys. Unfortunately, I read about it in the paper the next day. Like the lotto numbers.
Yeah, same.
So just an overview for tonight. We've got the girls talking Miranda Accounting Services. They're going to talk everything about tax because it's gone past June 30. We're catching up with Kerryn MacGregor. We're going to have a chat to her about the past and a little bit about the grassroots of Chelsea Heights and how it all begun, and the great Jock McGregor, her father. So we want to have a chat to her about that. We've got a special guest tonight who's going to share a demon tale. Yes, the great Keith Robbins.
Keithy Robbins, one of the finest players to play here and everywhere else, apparently.
And some of the articles that he sent through and some of the information and stories I read were just amazing during the week.
And they're the ones you can talk about.
Oh, fantastic. Sensational they were. We've got Bisho. Bisho's bet back for the week. Unfortunately, last week
how we going last week? No good.
I've got the saying, weight stops trains, they tell me. So
weight stops trains.
Yeah.
Good. So I have no idea what that means, but it sounds really good. Sounds like we lost.
We're throwing a bit of caution into the wind tonight. We've got our best 22, week 10, but we're thrown out there to the audience.
This could go anywhere.
This could go anywhere. I've put the topic down. I was thinking, do I go mosquito squad or do I go concrete boots? I'm going with the concrete boots side. So no offence to anyone if you get picked tonight. If you're in it, I don't want to see you storming off or throwing things or tantrums.
I'm too slow and too heavy to move anywhere at the moment, so it's fine.
He might even rip the jumper off like that day at Chelsea and throw it at everyone. I'm not sure.
Well, you give me another 7 weeks, that's fine.
And as per normal, we're taking questions from the audience. I believe we've got a live joke this week. I think Dave's here.
He's here. He's not working, so he's here. Hopefully he has a few beers on his belt and has a cracker.
You beauty. And also at the end of the show, we're hoping to get a few of the boys together, and we're going to do, for the new players that don't know, have never heard it, there's a famous war cry, and Jock McGregor came up with it.
Absolutely.
And we're hoping at the end of the show that we can actually go through that. So that'll be fantastic.
It's a beauty. It's a great bit of Chelsea Heights history.
Yeah, we've got the whistle here. So if we do need to blow it to move on,
is that for me?
Yeah,
that's for me, isn't
that's
it?
for you.
Yeah, stop talking shit.
Okay, so we'll get straight into our first guest. We've got Kerryn MacGregor. Kerryn's one of the great people from the Heights. Is also from the great family that was part of the pioneers to get the club started. Her dad is a great Jock McGregor. He was part of the fabric of the club. Jock was a lifelong servant of the club, coach, mentor, and he invented the famous Chelsea Heights Football Club war cry, which hopefully we'll hear a little bit later.
My first coach.
So thanks for joining us, Kerryn.
Pleasure.
So he's thrown to me, which means I answer the first question. And as per usual, as standard, I've missed my spot. Thanks for joining us, Kerryn. We've got a heap of photos and articles, team sheets that you shared and you dropped off today. I went through them during the week, and as soon as I opened that bag, memories were flooding back. And as soon as I opened the team sheets, names I haven't seen or heard from a long time come back. It was really special. And that's like his original bag. I love his little pink thinger that he made and stuff like that. That was typical Jock. Yeah, it was really good. So, tell us about yourself, your mum and dad, how you got to the Heights and your memories of sort of growing up here, because as we sort of all grew up there at that stage, didn't we?
We did. Well, Dad coached you.
He did, he certainly did.
Yeah. So, mum and dad, mum was a Chelsea girl. She was involved in lifesaving club, tennis, sport. Dad was Paran, and they met at Leggett's in Paran, the dance hall back
Nice.
in the day. They lived with mum and dad's mum and dad. Came Bumpy, my grandpa, built our home in 5th Avenue, Chelsea Heights.
And he lived out the back, remember that?
Out the back,
Yep.
yeah, he had a flat out the back. So not long, I was born in 65, and I think in 66 they started the club. What was that?
I think it might have been 69 or 68 or something.
69.
Yeah, I think it was, as far as I know.
Yeah, so Dad was a foster child many times over. He didn't have a very nice life. So when he met Mum, they just fell in love, and Dad was very involved in footy. He got as far as the Melbourne Seconds.
He did.
But yeah, he was a bit old by that stage, and I don't know, the cronies or the group who all started this football club, Dad involved, got it started, and yeah, that's where that starts with Dad. And
It's a pretty good story for people to be involved in starting off a club. You know, it's good when people come in and join it when it's already involved. But those guys, your mum and dad, and then a few others, they actually started this club. They started this club, so that's pretty incredible. Yeah.
There was nothing here.
No, exactly. You're right.
Yeah.
Chelsea Heights back then was the new development.
Yeah.
You know, of Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
I always call it the poor man's Patterson Lakes
Yeah, well,
because we had the water.
Well, Patterson Lakes wasn't even there when we were.
No, we were ahead of our time, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they wanted to start something to give back to the community, and you know, I had the best childhood. I spent my childhood growing up at this football club with Mum in the canteen, Dad the coach.
It was really funny. I did the same thing, and my kids are involved in it, still here. But I remember, I think it was last year, I came down, I'd been working, stuff like that, and I walked up the canteen, and you were there. And to me, it was like gone full circle.
Oh, it was.
So it was really good to see you in the can. It was great, yeah.
It was good, and that all came about from the anniversary.
Yeah, yep.
Last year? Yeah, last year.
Yep, the 50 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I'll do my mum and dad proud. And
Yeah, it was great.
get in the canteen duty. I only did a few of them, but I loved it.
It was really good to see you there. It was fantastic.
Really good.
Absolutely.
Really good.
About your dad, he was a legend of the club. He was a pioneer, coach, mentor, as I mentioned. He was always around when you needed a chat. So after a game, I'd always see him in the rooms and have a chat to him. He was a glass half full personality. He was full of positivity every time I spoke to him. So tell us a little bit about him. The joy he got from the club, because you would have seen him here and at home, obviously, and what you remember of his coaching days.
Okay, so yes, he had a rough upbringing, but I think that's kudos to Dad that the person he was after such a horrible upbringing and to give so much back to a community, he just embraced it.
Yeah.
It's not one person I know who knows Dad that would have a bad word for him. He's just a beautiful soul, and just always giving back.
Even when he had the shits with someone, and he had the shits with me a few times, he did it in such a nice way. Like he never scolded you. He wasn't. I'd never heard.
He never yelled.
No, I never heard a bad word, like a nasty word, come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Even when he was angry, he put it in such a nice way that it come across. But it was a sort of a sledgehammer thing. You took it and you knew you were in trouble. He wasn't berating you.
Yeah.
He had a really good way of it.
Embarrassing you.
Exactly right.
And that's what he was like as a father too. You could always go to him, and he was just so. Oh, look at him like this, Toots. That's what he used to call me. And Adam was Cobber and AJ.
Yep.
Just, look at it like this, and from a negative, he'd turn it into a positive, and you just go, wow, wow, he's mine. Yeah. He's my dad.
Yeah. He's a very special person,
and
Jock.
to so many kids in Chelsea Heights.
There isn't anyone who doesn't know who he is.
Exactly.
And he had a massive influence on me growing up. You know what I mean? Like I said, we clashed a few times, but I respected him like no other person. Yeah. He was just that kind of person.
Beautiful soul, and he was like that.
Yeah, he was a terrific player. I came from Sydney, couldn't play. He put up with me and taught me how to play footy and stuff. Wear your socks up. If you can't be a footballer, look like a footballer.
Exactly.
That instilled that pride into you that you can actually do anything.
Yeah. And he was very proud. He was very proud of all these boys. He was very proud of this club.
Yep. He sure was, wasn't he? Plenty of those.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Like after a game, you might have got to flog him by Hampton Park by 20 goals, and I'd go in and talk to him, grab a beer, whatever. And we're playing Cranbourne the next week, and I'm sort of already thinking about what's going to happen next week. And he was just always positive about it.
As long as you do the best you can.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah.
I think that was his motto, basically. Just go out and try your best, do your best, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And then see you all Tuesday, easy. So it's pretty simple.
And the photos that we just shown, we just had a reel of different memories and some great people in those photos, and the ground itself for the guys that are playing out there at the moment on this carpet.
Luxury.
Some of the pictures we've had up there. The mud pit,
12 degrees out in the sun shining, and they can play like little girls.
Yeah, exactly.
We're playing the swamplands.
Yeah. So down that far end, there was never a blade of grass.
No. Which was in front of the change rooms,
change rooms,
canteen, and the club rooms.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So
Dad would be in the footy section, Mum would be in the canteen, and even later in life they did, Barb Clark and Mum did BJ's. They did the meals.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
After training and all that jazz.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was really good, really family orientated then, you know what I mean? I mean, there was nothing much around here, so everyone stuck together and helped each other out.
We're going to go cards, we're going to go away, we're going with, the bakers.
The Giddeses, the whole lot of them.
The whole kit and caboodle, the sergeants.
Yeah, it was great.
And it was just diverse. The parents had themselves and we had each other.
That rarely happens anymore with communities. It's hard to get them together because everyone's do their own thing. But those days they were special. You know what I mean?
That's what I said. My childhood was just amazing. I grew up in a football club.
It was pretty good growing up here, that's for sure.
So. Absolutely. Lots of good friends, and even, to this day.
Well, it's good to get, like I said, we catch up. In the last 10 weeks, we've caught up a lot of people, a lot of stories, and it's all been connected to this club and the people in it. So, and everyone's got their story to tell and their good memories. So it's been really good. It's been great for not only us, but people listening who didn't know much about the history.
Exactly.
And they're learning things every week. So
there's a lot of history to this club.
There's a lot that people don't know.
The community spirit. I used to remember New Year's Eve. Dad would make a garbage bin of his punch, put it in the back of the car, drive us around, and we drive around to everybody's houses from the football club.
It was like the adult version
I can't even remember how it ended up because I was probably asleep.
Like the adult version of Father Christmas going around throwing out lollies. It's a massive thing of
It's
punch.
something I always with the New Year's Eve. And he's
and he loved that car, the station wagon.
Oh my goodness, his Holdens. He was a
He
Holden.
loved his Holden,
Yeah, he's holding wagons.
Yeah.
We used to make our mattresses.
I think so. It was a station wagon. Did it have bench seats or bucket seats in the front? I can't actually remember.
No, we had bench at one.
Bench and back. So basically, you'd fit 6 people in the car legally. Pretty sure you could fit 14 in there on the way to training, and not a seatbelt inside. And we all survived somehow.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a terrific. We loved that car as a cracker.
Yeah.
So we've got to move it on tonight. Grant's got the whistle out.
Yes,
The
Dad's
war
whistle.
cry, the famous war cry, Heidi,
Yeah.
Heidi, Heidi.
Yeah.
Do you know how that come about, or we just?
He just created that.
Yeah.
He just created that. I remember being in the canteen with Mum.
Yeah.
And we heard this, Heidi, 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 and it just went on. The last bit of Heidi, Heidi, Heidi's, it just went on. And it just, he did it every time.
Every time I remember playing.
Irish used to do it really well, Jared.
He wasn't as quite as classical. He's more guttural. I think that's what they call it.
Very, very throaty.
I remember we had Tasmania over here at one stage, I think, and we were getting absolutely smashed. And he said, look, this is what's going to happen in the last quarter. He goes, I'll do the Heidi Heidi's.
Yeah.
Everyone on the ball. So he's called out, Heidi, 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 and we just ran. And there was 18 blokes just trying to chase it. I think we got smashed anyway, but it was the war cry. You know what I mean?
Was
And it
was
meant a
that war
lot.
cry?
As soon as you heard, you could hear it. It'd go straight through the ground, straight across the ground, and everyone sort of knew what that meant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. It didn't matter
beautiful.
whereabouts on the ground you were playing. You could always hear that
Yeah.
cry at some stage of the game.
And even in the later years when he was not less involved,
Yeah.
but when he'd retired from like most of the footy and stuff like that, he'd come down, he'd still stick it out there and stuff like that.
Just
And
let
to
you
the
know
older
he's
blokes,
here.
and everyone knew it just bang memories. It's something you never
It
forget.
resonates with so many people.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's terrific,
It really does.
really good.
Oh, thanks for joining us tonight,
My
and also
pleasure.
thanks for bringing so many great memories. Not only the photos, you got your
The woolen
dad's
jumper,
the
Dad's
old
legs
woolen
are
jumper.
leather.
They're already scratching already.
I know.
Already scratching already.
And that's his actual training whistle.
It's your training whistle here that we've got here. Yeah, fantastic.
And so everything I gave for you for
Yeah.
tonight, I'd like to donate to the football club.
Thank you very much. That's
amazing.
huge. So what we were talking about, that someone said to me the other week, I've become sort of the unofficial historian of the
Historian.
club, and I'll take that on board. And what we're going to do is from now on ask people who turn up and we interview if they've got anything they want to donate, any memory, because everyone's got them somewhere.
Because it was like, I know the change rooms have all gone, but was there a fire? Was there something that the memorabilia got lost? Oh, have I
If the insurance was paid, something might have happened. That's for sure. So.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if that still might be in the hands of the solicitors. If anyone's got any, bring it down, and I'll try and somehow archive it and put it somewhere. So if you can come down there and for everyone to have a look through it and learn a bit more about the history. So, yeah, fantastic. We really appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Doing that.
Thank you.
No worries. And also, just a quick question. An audience member, it's just gone off, said that he took his that car into the panel beaters quite a few times. Yeah, a couple of little accidents, did he?
Is it maybe on the way home from the club?
Oh, do you know how many times he wiped out our front fence? Like, we'd hear him come, because it was always a V8. His cars were always V8.
Yeah.
He'd come down the street, he'd go across the neighbour, so he would reverse in.
Yeah.
And we all knew, and Mum would just be in the kitchen going, do you think he's going to hit it tonight? Tuesday and Thursday nights after training.
It probably would have been cheaper to either move the fence and knock the fence down or widen the driveway.
They never replaced the thing that held the gates on. They just left it off.
Well, at least he worked in Dandenong, so there's probably plenty of panel beaters around there anyway. Just like, perfect.
He became best friends
There you
with
go.
Mark Potter.
Mates race. That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, thanks for
and
coming
all the
on.
best for the cookie season.
Yeah.
No worry.
Yeah, if
And
we get there.
you're moving to Cairns soon,
Yeah,
so
10 days.
we'll keep in touch somehow. So and good luck with that.
Thanks so
And thanks
much.
very much for having us on. I
Yeah.
really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
No
Thank
worries
you.
in the world.
Thanks for that.
Thanks, Gary.
There's our first war cry.
There you go, on your slug. Good stuff.
So, June 30.
June
What
30.
happens on June 30?
June 30 is tax time.
Tax time.
And I've never been more excited about tax in my life.
Yeah, so we'd like to thank the girls from Miranda Accounting for sponsoring tonight's show. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna show some footage while the girls are getting ready. There we go. Yeah. So
talking tax.
Talking tax. Look at these photos.
Have a look up there. If you can't see it, turn around and have a look at these.
Look at
There's
those
some
shorts.
great
Look at those
photos.
shorts.
They were tight, so you couldn't get tackled.
Oh, I love it.
And black.
Some great photos here. I hope we're going to see this. Oh, look at that.
Hey,
That
have a look
is
at that.
fantastic. Yeah.
It's for all you blokes, the young blokes. Who needs a coach's box?
Yeah, so some amazing pictures up there, some great memories. There's AJ himself.
There he is. Looks like a giant there.
There's Jock and Jill.
There he is. Oh, that's a bit.
That's his
Tinder
That's
profile.
his Tinder profile, no doubt about that.
And that's our trip away when the adults are supposed to look after us. But didn't
And there's
really
the
happen.
car. There's the famous wagon.
Oi, power couple of Chelsea Heights. Couple of legends there.
Fantastic.
And banners we're always good at. So
That's
tax time.
fantastic. Thanks, Kerryn.
Thanks,
Again.
Kerryn. Cheers. So it's tax time.
I would like to welcome Vanessa and Stacey.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks for sponsoring the show, and thanks also for coming on board to talk about a pretty important topic. And this year, as you know, will be the most different that we've ever seen come tax time. You guys must be finding it hard to get your heads around it as well. I'll tell you a little bit about your own business if you like. You're established in 2000. You're a local Chelsea Heights business. You specialise in all things tax and accounting. What else we got here? And also I told you that your company is named after your rights, which is the law, but that isn't. It's your surname.
No, but that was a bit good on you for guessing that. No,
I had
you're
a crack.
wrong.
I had a crack at it anyway. Go
My
for it.
first
You wanna ask
question.
the question.
Yeah, no, I'm just a little bit slated on because I've actually done research for this show.
Okay.
So you're a local accountant, and we support local. It's the whole thing about community. So where are you located? Whereabouts?
So we're located on Wells Road in Chelsea Heights, just near Thames Promenade, which is just probably 2 minutes up the road from here. Didn't take us long to get here tonight.
And it's just across the road from me, basically.
Yes, you pop in sometimes, don't you, Todd?
I do pop in and annoy you. And
Yes.
It's fine, as long as you bring us nice dips and chips.
Yeah, I just get bored at home, so I come and annoy you guys for something to do.
Well, before I ask the next question, is there a bar fridge there?
There is a bar.
There you go. That explains it all.
Can I just? This is the only place I've ever seen you can actually go to work and your smoko or is a glass of wine and maybe some oysters. I want to be a tax agent. It's great.
That's great. Well, the next question I had because there are a lot of tradies at the club. We've actually spoken to a lot of the actual current players that are tradies. So come this year, what can they claim on their tax?
So we've been doing tax returns, well, I've been doing it for nearly 25 years, and a lot of them have been tradies, and there are a lot of tradies in the world that come in really, really early because they're the first ones that want their refunds. So over the time, we've probably done thousands and thousands. Some of the common claims are obviously car and fuel, which that's a big one. But some things that we see often are things like tools for tradies and things that you don't sometimes think about, like gloves and gumboots and buckets that we all buy. If you take it to work, tradies can claim all those things. There's the obvious stuff like union and training and white cards and all those sorts of things. But I think that the easiest way to say it is ask us, because we'll just say no. So if you come along and say, can I claim a slab of beer, we'll say no. If you come along and you say, can I
That's my
claim
next question.
parking in the city when I go to work, we'll say yes.
Okay.
See, a lot of people wouldn't know that.
No.
You know what I mean? So they're unaware. So what the idea is obviously go to someone as experienced as you are and let them know what they're...
We'll prompt. We'll say, what about this, what about this, what about this? So hopefully you get a nice big refund.
Yeah, excellent.
That's the key. Car expenses, now they're tricky. How do you claim that with the odometer? What's the go?
So there's two methods that you can claim for your car. The one that's probably the most popular with our tradie clients is the logbook method. So you're technically meant to have a logbook for 12 weeks of the year, and it's meant to show your business and private travel. Now, by claiming the logbook, we can claim all your running costs of your car. So that would be fuel, rego, insurance, interest on your car, depreciation, and we can claim all of them at your business percentage. So that's the probably most popular claim for tradies, because obviously a lot of people living in Chelsea Heights, you're driving up to the city, you're driving through tolls, as Vanessa mentioned, parking. So it's quite costly for a lot of the tradies to get to and from work. So that's probably the big ticket item in a tax return, and how our tradies get such big generous refunds is by claiming their car the logbook method. But there's also another method for the clients that don't have a logbook and aren't compliant in that way, and that's what we call the set rate, and we can claim up to 5,000 kilometres for them without a logbook, and it's still quite a good claim. It's just over $3,000 as a tax deduction to your return, and a lot of office workers would claim that way. They have to do the mail or the banking and things like that in their car, but yeah, a lot of tradies do claim that too because they don't have a logbook.
Excellent. I usually write the questions on. I don't know why I got myself this question, but anyway, it's going to be...
You give me all the shittiest ones
I usually
usually.
do. This is the stupidest question I will ask, but are sunglasses tax deductible?
Absolutely they
Yeah.
are. In a lot of cases they are. Not in every case, obviously, but in a lot of cases they are. If you are in the car a lot for your work, so you might be a salesperson or something like that, you need sunglasses to protect you from the weather in your job. So long as it's protecting you from the weather while you do your job, you can claim sunglasses.
What about thongs? Because I'm a 365-year man.
I'm not sure that thongs would protect you from your environment.
But they make me good better for my mental health.
Yeah, you've got to claim things for mental health.
I think he's asking if you release some Miranda Accounting Thongs with the business name on it. Logo on them, could you claim?
Oh.
I don't know.
I've got good-looking feet.
Look in thongs with their suits running.
You've got the wrong clientele, that's what I'm saying. That's unbelievable. Now, another question. So, it's like you said, tradies like to come and like to get as much money as they're already earning $1 million, these blokes. What are the charges for these guys? I mean, you've got to take some money. I mean, you guys do a lot of work to get your money back. So what's the average charge of is it the same fee? Is it different fees or...?
So we charge $150 plus GST for a standard tax return. Our fees do increase based on what is in your return. We do charge an additional $50 plus GST for the logbook claim because obviously there's more calculations involved, takes more time, more risk factor, more compliance that goes into it. If you have an investment property, which I'm sure a lot of our treaty clients do, that's an extra $100 plus GST as well. So it just depends on what you have in your return, but generally speaking, they're the main fees that our individuals or tradies would spend.
It's still pretty cheap, isn't it?
And it's
really?
tax deductible. You can claim it.
100% tax deductible.
Keep the receipts, that's all I've learned. But it's really cheap, seriously. I've been doing my tax rate, and it was always 50 or 60 or 70 or 80. That's 30 years ago. So what you get now, it's nothing.
Well, and at the same time too, we're all like degree qualified accountants, so we obviously know what you can and can't claim, and you always do get a bigger refund by seeing a tax agent rather than just jumping on MyGov and doing it yourself, because obviously we know what the ATO is looking at, their hot spots, what they're after and what they're auditing. So yeah, we definitely assist you.
I think because we do so many, we can prompt. We can go, what about this? You've missed this. We kind of know what should be in it.
We know the trends too, yeah.
When you've missed something, we're not scared to go, do you use this for it?
Because I remember we had two accounts here at one stage, and geez, they were
a bit dodgy.
No, they weren't dodgy. They were the straight down. You got
That's
nothing
not
back.
us, Todd.
No. What happens is there's a guy, and I won't mention his name, Graham Knight, because I still owe him $35. He did my tax one day, and he sent me a bill for $35. I said, "What's this for?" He goes, "Oh, he gave me $30." I said, "Mate, you couldn't bodge it up somehow to get your own $35 back." He goes, "No, you won't." So I left him, and I still owe him $35 30 years ago. And you're not getting your money 92.
Well, we definitely don't look like the normal typical accountants, and normally, yeah, a bit older, bit greyer.
He had a shave tonight, just for you guys.
Are you implying something? Even Nicole goes, you went up, Shay, what's wrong with you? I go,
the girls are coming in.
I've got the girls coming in now. I've got to look my best, you know what I mean? Except for the massive blood pressure. I think
I've had a good look at your website, and you seem to have a lot of qualified staff ready to help, ready to go. So how can people get their tax done with you? I'm going to add a little bit that I haven't got on there. If someone else has been getting their tax done with someone else for all these years and they decide to come to you, should they bring their details from the year before to show you, to show what they've got, what they've done?
I mean, sometimes it's helpful, but
Yeah.
often if there's not things like depreciation in them or investment properties, there's not really anything that you would know off the top of your head, and we can do it for them. Usually when people, other than businesses, for an individual client, you can change accountants as many times as you like, it doesn't matter. We can access still all of your information from the tax office, just with your date of birth and tax file number. So we get most of the stuff, it's pretty easy, just come in. You know, we've been doing it long enough, we know what we need, and most of it we can get done. And if we can't, we've set up, obviously with this pandemic that we're in, we've set up a couple of new ways to do it, like with Zoom or on the phone, and there's electronic signing, which isn't a difficult, having to hold your pen on the iPad. It's literally a copy and paste you're authorising us to run. So at the moment we've got a couple of ways. You can do a tax online, which is about 20 questions on our webpage. just fill out the questions and we do it and email it to you and go, is this it? We might ring you if you're missing something, or you can, on our webpage, make an appointment to either come and see us or to organise a telephone appointment when I'll just, either Stacey or I will talk to you on the phone while we enter all your details.
Yep.
Make sure you're happy with your refund. You might go, no, I'm not happy with that because someone else got me more, and we just keep programming until
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Excellent.
So I've been set up for this question. Okay, I didn't read this board. No, this is the only hammer I didn't do. And I'll read it. And it's embarrassing, but there's a fair bit of truth in it. I've got more apps on my phone than underpants that I own. All right? So what's your free app and what does it do? And I understand you did that. Is that correct? You made that up?
Yes.
To me, that's impressive because I don't even know how to use a phone.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? What's the go with that? Because it's pretty tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is actually our second app. So Vanessa and I, we had an app like years ago before the ATO even had their own app. And the idea was, again, because we see so many tradie clients, and to be honest, you tradies are generally hopeless with keeping receipts. And what we often found is Vanessa would always say and train her clients to take photocopies of your receipts, take photocopies of your receipts. And that was before iPhone days. And
that's how old I am.
Yeah, it's a little
for that one. So then, we basically came up with taking photos of your receipts. And what's really good with the tradie clients is that those Bunnings receipts are quite they're shiny. So by the time they keep them in their glove box in the sun, they come in and we look at them. And technically speaking, you're meant to have your receipts for 5 years in case of an audit. So we were finding all these tradies would come in, or even office professionals or whoever, and their receipts were faded. So our app has a function where you can take photos of your receipts, upload it and store it in categories, whether it be car claims, as Vanessa mentioned, union fees, sunglasses. You can categorise it however you like, and therefore you've got a record of all your receipts. We've also got a logbook feature in there where it can link into it's got a GPS in there to track your logbook so that you can claim that bigger car claim that I mentioned before that gets the bigger refund. So our app is free. It's easy to download, and it's got a lot more useful tools in there too, such as income tax calculators, HEX calculators. It's got land tax calculators. We have to literally put everything we could think of where our 3,000 clients have called up over the years and asked questions on. Vanessa and I have put it all into an app, and it's free for our clients, potential clients, ex-clients.
Anyone can really use it. But apart from all the complicated stuff,
I have no idea what you're talking about. You see my vacant look there? I was just looking over there in a space and go, what if I could fly?
Does it have updated footy scores on the app?
No, it doesn't have footy scores on it. But,
you need to work on that.
But what it does have on it is our contact details, phone number and email. But it is free, so even if you don't want to use us as your account, it is a good way to keep your receipts.
Yeah, excellent. And we just showed that up on the screen. Actually, we've been putting up those slides up there. So
perfect.
Yeah, excellent.
So, like I said, over the years, a lot of tradies would have lost or not be able to gain that money back because the no receipts sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect way to put some more money in your pocket, isn't it?
Well, something that I always say to my clients when they come in, they come in and they're like, keeping your receipts is annoying, I can't be bothered with it, I'm not organised, I'm not tech savvy, and then they start to see they start.
I'm exactly the same. I'm terrible with my receipts. Hence, I love it. When I go and fill up for fuel, I get my fuel receipt from the guy or girl, take a photo of it, then just put it in the rubbish. Perfect. I'm not good at that stuff.
But then they start seeing that their refund increases, and when people see dollar signs, they get excited, they get happy, and then all of a sudden they like coming in. And that's another thing that Vanessa and I notice with our clients. Like, we actually have a good time when our clients come in. They become like your friends. You get to know them. Vanessa's, we've seen clients when they've, just get together and they have a baby, then they progress and get married, etc. So it becomes a bit of fun doing your tax. You'd say so when you came in and saw me, Todd.
You do, and I see you get a lot of presents and stuff. Some really nice clients drop you off flowers and wine, chocolates and oysters at one stage, and lunch.
And
You're
some
just trying to get a bigger refund.
Absolutely.
And some guys come in every day. Do you go in every day?
Not every day. I'm not some weird ass pervert. You know what I mean? Every second day. They don't realise. No, but to be honest, it's actually fun.
Yeah.
I mean, text. When you mention text, anyone. Oh God, it's so boring. But actually, you go and see these guys, and from the. I can't remember all the girls' names. From the girl they're all good fun. They are.
Stalk us on the webpage. We're all on the webpage.
We are.
No.
On our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our app.
Yeah, just
jump online.
Don't ever check my computer. Sneak a photo file, that's all. That makes tax fun. That's a simple
Clear your cache.
I know how to do that. Selling I know how to do.
See, you're tech savvy. Like, do you even know what that is?
No. But yes, of course I do. I'm not complete idiots.
So tell us a little bit. Firstly, we've been. Oh, we've got a bit of change of mic here. Our floor managers on. So we've been talking a lot about shopping local.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Thanks.
I hope you can hear me.
We've been really pushing the shop. Look, in tough times, we really want everyone to shop local. You guys are local. Just wanted to know what else you guys do in the community. Have you got any charities or anything like that set up?
Yeah, so I've been local all my life, and as you know now, I'm a lot older than Stacey. So I've lived here as a local my entire life. Grew up in Seaford, Chelsea, around here. But a little while ago, I had some dealing with, and still do, with Monash Children's Cancer Centre. Yep. And going there, I realised that is our local hospital for all our children. Although we think that it's all the Royal Children's Hospital, actually Monash catches all of our local area, and they don't get a lot of funding. So I set up a charity because I'm an accountant, so I can set up my own charity properly.
Genius.
A proper tax-deductible, registered charity. And we run, some of you probably have been at, and I think you guys have been involved before in the biggest play date, which we've run now for 6 years, I think, in total, which is a local thing held at St Joey's a couple of years, or Aspendale Gardens. All the money raised there goes to the Children's Cancer Fund. So hopefully I'm trying to make a difference. That's the motto.
That's
together
excellent.
we can all make a difference, and it is a local charity. It's here in Chelsea.
That's excellent. Yeah,
that is good.
That's
really good. It's good to see people put back in the community and actually care. So that gives us all a nice warm fuzzy feeling, and jump on board. And if you see it and put when it's up, make sure you share it with us, and we'll flog it as much as possible.
And also we'll hopefully have our past players up and going, and that's something we could probably direct a little bit of money towards once we get that all set up.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure we can do something like that for sure.
When we run the play date, it's just like a massive fete. So a lot of clubs and people tend to come along and do like an activity, and everyone just pays a gold coin donation to do the activity, and that goes to the hospital.
Oh, it's excellent. Really good.
Thing.
Yeah, it's really good.
It is.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, unless you've got anything else that you want to...
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming. Thanks very much for coming in.
If you ask our producer really nicely, he might be able to cut this interview out for your website or social media.
If you want to...
No, he's looking at me saying, I don't know about this.
Really bad look. How about if we give you a big smile?
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate
all
it.
you guys out there who are listening in, and we get around about 1,000 people looking in every week or over the next few days.
Yeah.
Get on I'll just about guarantee you'll get more money than you'll ever have from any tax return you've done before. So, and the other thing is you support local
exactly.
business.
And we keep saying it, shop local, times are tough. Shop local and look after your local.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Well,
thanks for
thank
your
you
time.
so much.
No worries.
Thank you.
40 to 1. We just wonder if everyone here can get ready to yell out Bisho in a minute. We'll give the hands up when we're ready to go, and we'll give him a big roar. We're just about to give him a call. See what he likes this week. Get ready. Ready. Get ready.
Hello.
Bisho! You're
Beauty.
We've got
a live audience here, mate. They're all rowdy.
Blind full of cheap alcohol. Yeah.
The boys are very rowdy tonight. They're all had a few sherbets. We prompted it to call out Bisho when we called you.
Yeah, no worries, mate. That sounds good.
How did the camping go, mate?
Oh, it was fantastic, mate. No, it was good to get away and blue skies every day. A bit chilly, but surf was good. So happy days.
Ah, excellent. And your horse ran a nice again. Got you another check. Salsa Dreaming, a nice fourth again.
Yeah. He was supposed to go forward, Robert Thompson, and it was second last with 3 wides. But anyway, that's jockeys for you.
Yeah, we just got the footage here of last week. The harbour views. What's your opinion? You reckon the weight or just not a 2,000 metre horse?
It could. Oh no, I just think he had an off day. I hate it when the whole country's on it. Everyone was on it in the end, but when that much weight on them. But I thought he was a shade disappointing. Thinking beat far, but not good. Not a good result.
Yeah, they were talking him up to be a Cox Plate horse. I'm not sure he's a Group 1 horse. He might be a Group 3 horse, but he certainly was a bit disappointing.
he'd have to find a few lengths. But we'll forgive him that one run and see what happens.
Yeah. So we're back to the big house this week, aren't we?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, no, go there.
Go to Flemington. Yeah, Flemington. Yeah. And what do you like?
Yeah, the best bet, race 2, number 4, Lord Belvedere at $3.30.
Lord Belvedere. That's an English horse, isn't it?
Yeah. No, he beat most of his last time, and he's 4th up. He'll be even cherry ripe. I reckon he'll end up being favourite.
Yeah, coming to favourite. Yeah, and I think he's cherry ripe too. He's about 3rd or 4th up, isn't he?
Yeah, 4th up. He loves the trip. He'll be storming home.
All right.
Be good.
Yeah, and what's your best each way bet?
Well, the best each way is one we had the other week. It's race 5, number 4, Rich Charm. It was $8, but it's into $5.50 and $2.25 now, so they've crunched it.
I did watch the replay and I did see it flashing home down the outside, saying back me next start.
Yeah, no, he had big flashing light in his head, mate. I'll be having a fair go at him on Saturday, so let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope. He loves the straight too at Flemington.
Yeah, and then I think he's 3rd up for 5 times for 4 wins, so over 12, and he's got the extra 100 metres. So he gets clear. He'll be storming home that last 100.
Oh, excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, and let's get them home. We'll try and put them all up on those 2.
Oh, I think I owe you a winner or 2. So
I've got a good feeling, so I reckon I might sell my 11-year-old and put him on it. Some sort of Indian bookmakers will take my bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good.
Right, mate. Take care. I'll speak to you next week. Good luck.
Next week.
Have a great night. See you, boys.
Mate. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Our next guest.
Oh, wow. Look, I don't know what to say about this guy.
He's
done. I've actually done for the first time in 10 weeks.
Yep.
Some sort of research.
Yeah.
Mainly because he dropped all the stuff around himself, and I sort of read through it. He's won Untold League Best and Fairest.
Yep.
I think he won 3 in a row in the EFL. He won the South Gippsland Best and Fairest. He's won a Morning Peninsula Best and Fairest. He's won goal kicking awards. There isn't much that this guy, our next guest, hasn't done.
Yeah.
And as a young bloke growing up in Chelsea Heights, when my heroes when I was growing up at Chelsea Heights as a young bloke was Keith, was John Delaney, was Oaksy over there, and a few others.
Yep.
And that was my first memories of Chelsea Heights, watching these blokes just run around and go and cry. In the tough old days, and it was pretty tough in certain areas, but these guys were lucky to have a little bit of success. They missed out on a couple of grand finals. Yeah. So, we're very, very, very fortunate, and I can't thank Keith enough for coming down, driving all this way to come on and burn our little show. Yeah. And, it's wonderful. Great. It's really good to have you on, Keith.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to go through that again. So you won the league's best and fairest, Mornington MP NFL, Southwest Gippsland, Diamond Valley. You won numerous goal kicking awards, and I think this guy here might tear up tonight. He's always said you're one of his legends. Oh. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, Keith. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, growing up, how you got into footy, how that all got started, your family, and what you do now with your time.
Okay, well, I guess I grew up on the other side of town over in West Heidelberg, probably the wrong part of town, the wrong side of the tracks in the 60s. So, it was fairly basic working class. I certainly wasn't going to be a brain surgeon or anything, so academically I didn't have it there. And I started to play football purely and simply out of boredom, and I started at 12. So I played football through to senior football, and one of the things I have to say is that, and I say this often for the kids, I couldn't ever get a game of football. I could never get a game right up until the under-15s. I was always 19th, 20th or out of it completely. So I like to say that in case there's kids that sort of say, I love to play, but I'm really not very good. It's more about persistence and enthusiasm. That's what I did. I was lucky enough to find a bottom side senior team when I was 16, and played my first senior game at 16, and I really don't think I was that good, but it was a bottom side. So I played 2 years there, started to develop physically, and went to Brunswick in the VFA and had 4 years in the VFA. lucky enough to play for Victoria. And there's a bit of a misunderstanding, and I wound up down at Edithvale Aspendale coaching at 22, which is much too young, but anyway.
Oh, yeah.
He's young.
Yeah, so I was down there, and that brought me onto this side of town. From there I went out to, there was a couple of little dalliances with Hawthorn. And so I finished up going out to East Ringwood in the Eastern District League, First Division. And I sort of travelled out there a little bit, and then wandered back to this side of town and finished up at Chelsea Heights at the right time.
And just I want to go back there. I can't remember who was sitting there last week. Is it true John Kennedy said that you were the best player not to play a game at Hawthorn? Is that true? Or is that a bit of an urban myth? But that's what someone told me, because their team was so good at the time, they couldn't basically squeeze you in. Is that correct?
No. What the story was, I don't know where you got that from, but
probably just made it up,
it's pretty close. No, I might have made it up and got it for you. Yeah,
maybe too. Yeah.
No. What happened was that David Parkin wrote in the paper that I was the best player he'd ever seen not to play league football. That was basically it.
Yeah.
And I think that was spurned from the fact that I played on David Parkin in a match one day, and have those days where nothing goes wrong. Well, I had one of those, and he had a day where it didn't go right. So I think I looked a lot better than I really was.
You're being too modest. And what about your family? What's?
I've got three kids. Well, they're not kids anymore. They're grown up. 2 sons and a daughter. And I see the sons regularly. Don't see my daughter so much, but I see my sons, virtually every week. Hayden, the eldest one, played at Melbourne. Had about 30 games at Melbourne. And well and truly retired now, so that's how old I am. I've got kids that are retired.
And they played a lot of footy at Beaconsfield, both of them?
Both of them played at Beaconsfield. Hayden also coached at Somerville at one point. He's living in Gippsland now, so he doesn't have a great involvement in football anymore.
Okay.
Now, tell us about you spent how many, I can't even remember, how many years you played at the Heights, and what were your memories on the Heights? And one guy you were lucky to play with is the guy sitting over there, a good old friend of yours, which we set you up today so you could sort of have a chat and bump into each other. So what was it like playing on the Heights, and what was it like playing with the great Peter Oates?
Okay, well, playing with the Heights, and I don't know whether people realise it, but I think fundamentally when I came down here, and I only hear this second-hand and hearsay, but I hear that in effect Chelsea Heights was a junior football club, and the story was that the kids were now coming through and they were getting to 17 or 18, and they were finding there was nowhere to play footy, and they were feeding Chelsea and other clubs. So they decided it'd be a good idea to start a senior football team and give the kids somewhere to go. And I think there was a gentleman down here, lovely man, Ray Baker.
Yeah.
And Ray Baker was the wheeler, the mover and the shaker, if you like. Ray had the finance, and I think after a couple of years they decided that Chelsea Heights should have some credibility. And the idea was to try and win a premiership. And we almost did that.
Yeah.
But they got Peter, of course, as a coach. The likes of John Hogan, Robbie Green, and they got quite a few players down. And let's be honest, the club bought these players to come in, and the idea was to try and win the premiership. And as I say, we went real close. The only problem was that Berwick obviously had done the same thing the same year and spent a lot more money than we spent.
Yeah.
So we missed out that year, but. It was an interesting journey along the way.
Yeah.
And in answer to your question, I had 3 seasons here. I had 2 seasons down here. And then I had a break, and I'm not sure where I went then. I'd have to consult my files. At 74, I need to consult everything. And then I came back for another year, and Peter and I became very good friends while I was down here. I think he and I had a lot in common in that we absolutely thought football was far more than a game to us.
Yeah.
It was our obsession. And I remember with our young families, I would often go back to Peter's place after the game, and we'd have fish and chips, and we'd reassess the game over and over and over again. And even tonight, having a chat to him there, it was still a situation where we're talking old times. But look, I thought it was a good time at Chelsea Heights because it was all new. The idea of playing in finals in a competition like this, the idea of maybe winning a premiership, it was all new and it was all good. And there was a lot of nice people down here then too.
What was it like catching up with him tonight and seeing him?
Oh, look, it was sensational because it was a situation where I said, oh, well, there's somebody here you might know, and I'm looking around and I can't see anyone because we don't look the same anymore. That probably surprised a lot of people. But I looked around and Peter was there, and it was just great. You know, the number of players we've mentioned tonight and talked about, and the number of incidents, some of them very funny, some of them very violent, but quite interesting too.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say that. So there's a pick up there of Keith.
Yep.
Short sleeve jumper, guns out, fit as a fiddle, loved his footy. The picture he gave me, which I'll keep forever, was great for me. I just want to say though, geez, you've let yourself go there, Keith. Hey, have a look at him.
Mentally and physically.
I couldn't be more embarrassed being next to this guy today at 74.
Disgraceful.
You sent a few. Oh, I don't know if you got them or you sent them through. There was a few articles that I read. There was a game about an article about a game against Doveton. I believe you were a centreman, and they switched you forward, and you kicked a lazy 5 in the first quarter, and I think you finished the game with 9. Do you remember that game?
I do remember that, not particularly well, but from what I can gather, I wasn't fit prior to the game. I was carrying an injury prior to the game.
Yep.
And I think I was sort of kicking around in the centre, and I don't think I was doing a great deal. So I don't know whether it was desperation or Peter's football nous, but he said, go down to full forward and see how you go down there. So I finished up going down there, and as you said, I kicked a few goals down there, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was actually the beginning of another career for me. And why I say that, I'd played predominantly in the centre, and I never saw myself as a full forward, and I still don't, I might add, but it was a situation where I felt I was a bit of a pinch hitter in that, you know, anyone makes a mistake, I'll have it and I'll kick a goal sort of thing. But that was the beginning of another career in that I was moving toward the end of my career in the centre.
Yep.
And I realised that, you know, in a reasonable side I could get kicks at full forward. And I've got no doubt at all, I retired at 43, and I've got no doubt at all that move by Peter that day and the fact that I, luckily or whatever, kicked a few goals gave me another career.
Yeah, fine. And we all know forwards do nothing.
Mate, you guys are kidding yourselves. I used to get accused all the time. I go, you do nothing but kick goals. I go, well, that's my job, isn't it?
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're saying. So when your body, it's a different game. As a forward, it's short burst sort of footy, isn't it? It's not that longevity. It's that short burst, short and sharp sort of footy that can.
Well, I was living at Keysborough at the time, and one night I went home. This is on a Saturday night, and I laid down in front of the fire.
Yeah.
And I didn't know my wife was doing it, but she was actually timing me. We're going to bed now, all right. And she timed me at 4.5 minutes to get off the floor, get up and walk past the heater. Which I was that, you know, I'd been hit with a truck sort of thing, which is time.
Yeah.
It takes me 15 minutes to get out of bed now. That's great. Southwest Gippsy, you won the best league medal. Then you finished on 30 votes, 12 clear of... If you don't believe it, we'll make it up. It's fine.
Yeah. No, that's 12, right. It was 12, Jimmy Sutton, I think.
12 clear of the next bloke. That's huge in that league. Was that one of your best years of football? Because, you know, EDFL, you won 3 medals in a row. I mean, you've won a lot of awards. Was that one of your better years, or...?
I don't remember it as such. I don't remember it as such because, in fact, to be honest with you, I had to research that to see, because I didn't realise that I'd finished with the vote differential there.
Yeah.
And having said that, as I say, I had no idea that I'd actually won it by that number of votes. And it's all sort of relative too, because the different levels of football and the different standards of the opposition, etc., etc. No, and I certainly appreciated it too. I can tell you.
Who was the coach? There was a good little piece there that you seen. Chelsea Heights one team wonder. That was it. Keep you out.
Cranbourne.
Was it Cranbourne?
It was Cranbourne. They sent an internal memo to their player, and they said, "Stop Keith Robbins, and you win." That's all.
You
Chelsea
guys get you good information. That was probably a day. That was possibly a day when I can honestly say before the game I felt frightened.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
And why I say that, I thought this is terrific, isn't it? We're going to have 18 blokes out here, and all they're going to want to do is bash me.
Oh God! Yeah.
So I really was a little bit tentative that day. I was glad I actually was out there to look after me.
And when you say bash you, these days it's just roughing up and a bit of to keep. But those days they really meant bash you.
They did. You put your head down. And there was a player out there who would actually kick your head off if you put it down. And he played league football on the centre line for Richmond. Name was Barrett.
You bastard.
Yeah. No, he was. He didn't mind how he got you. He'd get you. So yeah. That actually is true. And I can say without a word of a lie, I was a bit tentative in that game.
Oh, mate, that was like. You're a bit older than me. When we played in juniors, it was just violent. It was really violent. You know what I mean? Like I'd played in plenty of games. They've been called off, and people were punching up each other, and there was people on the field, and parents jumping the field, and kids getting. It was just out of control.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? No one these days would even understand how nasty it was.
Yeah, and I think it's good from the point of view of the kids. I think it's reflective of society, and
absolutely,
it's much better for the kids.
I wouldn't let my bloke play. He's 11. If it was like that these days, I wouldn't let him play at all. Yeah. You know, and people in those days, if he said, "Look, I'm not letting my son play," you'd be considered weak, or your son's weak and stuff like that. But those days, you don't ever want to sort of go back to. Yeah. You want to see blokes be able to use their skill and entertain it that way. So
look, I think it's a different game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll just ask you about the best and first. I see it was at the Dandenong Hotel. Do you remember it at all? The night at all? Do you remember the night at all?
No,
what it was like? No,
I don't.
No, okay.
Would have been classy at Dandenong.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, in the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. Yeah, I was going to say.
Fight your way in, fight your way out.
I was thinking, was it a tuxedo affair or
No, I doubt it. But I can tell you a rather funny story. It's not violent, but it goes around violence. We had a guy playing with us, Barry McCarthy. Yeah. Now Barry lived around Keysborough, and captain coach at Keysborough was Darky Evans, who played a lot of football with Dandenong in the halcyon days. Good player, good bloke. Anyway, he ran into Darky Evans. He was playing at Chelsea Heights with me. He ran into Darky Evans, and Darky said to him, he said to Darky, "Look, mate, you're not a bad bloke. You're playing Chelsea Heights on Saturday." He said, "I shouldn't be telling you this," but he said, before the umpire bounces the ball, he'd blow the whistle, he's going to hold the ball up. Coco, which is the nickname they'd given me, Coco is going to knock you out before the game starts. He said, Darky said, "You wouldn't do that. It's not like him." "Yeah, he's going to. It's up to you. You believe it or not." So then he came round to my place and he said, "Listen," he said, "I was talking to Darky Evans, and Darky Evans reckons he's going to knock you out before they bounce the ball." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." So the following day, I'm standing there looking across the centre, and I'm looking at Darky, and Darky's looking at me, and I'm thinking, "I know what you're thinking, Darky. You won't get me. I'll get you when you come in." And he's thinking the same of me.
Yeah.
When we're having a beer after the game, we found out the real truth. I said, "Thanks very much, Barry."
It's stitched up.
Yeah.
Stitched up.
It did. So
that's great.
You told us a little bit about any more that you can add to your football journey. I want
to ask you a couple of questions. I just wrote them. Obviously you got a few stories, and you're a fairly hungry. do you have any idea of how many BNFs you won and through the leagues? Like, you're a legend in the EFL. There's this here. There's skips there. Goals. I mean, you've done a bit of stuff. You've done all right. For a bloke who didn't think they could play at 12 years old.
No, absolutely I couldn't. I have to say that I was fortunate that my sister kept a scrapbook. The only thing I didn't like was she underlined my name all the time, which sort of didn't look real good. But I had to look this up, and I've got 18 club best and fairest and 7 league best and fairest.
Jeez. You're not catching up with me there. That's
amazing.
It's not that good.
I think it is.
Hang on, can we just get that in perspective again? Can we have 17 league best and fairest?
18.
18.
No, 7.
Sorry, I didn't want to miss
7 league and 18.
Club best and fairest.
Yeah.
Geez, you probably should have tried harder, Keith. Hey? Imagine if you were good at 12.
Well, I didn't know when to give it away. I just didn't know when to give it away.
Like you said, go back to persistence again.
43 was overdoing it a little bit. And to prove the point, I've got 2 new knees, 2 new hips and half a kidney gone. And
he's still in better shape than I am.
So can you list those clubs again? So it was where you started?
There was 11 clubs. I actually played. 11. I couldn't work it out because I always told people I played at 13, but I played at 11 clubs, but I had the returns on a couple. I went back to Edithvale, Aspendale for a season.
Yeah.
And, of course, I came back here for a season.
Yeah.
And that in itself is worth a couple of stories, just the season I came back. Yeah. So
we might ask you a few about that later on.
Yeah. We'll get to the Demon Tail segment. So we do this with all our past players. So it's usually a few little quick fire, quirky questions just to get to know a few things.
We ask this question every week, and the reason we wanted to get you on is your name was so it's basically the best football you've seen or the best football at Chelsea Heights, and your name. I think it's popped up in the last 6 or 7 times someone's mentioned it, and this is from the older guys who played around you or watched you or watched footy win. So who do you think that was the best player you've seen here? And if you want to mention someone at some other club you played with, go for it.
I've got no choice at all, none whatsoever. Peter Oakes.
Peter Oakes, you reckon?
No, Peter was as hard as nails. He was as tough as nails. He was as loyal as hell. Peter actually led by example. And I've always said, of all the teams I played with, and if I had to pick a team out of all those 11 clubs, that Peter Oakes would be picked in the first 6 of them, purely and simply because he was totally committed. He loved the game. It was much more than a game to him. He was staunch. He was totally committed on and off the field. And many was the time he flew the flag for Chelsea Heights out there. Sometimes he might have overdone it a bit, but nonetheless, you never had any question about Peter at all. No, Peter was the best player I saw here. And there was a few. Bobby Green was a great player.
Yeah, he was.
Johnny Hogan, of course, fantastic player. There was other players as well, but I think Peter was just tremendous for the club because he came here at the right time. He had the man management skills. As I said, he was totally committed, and I think you'd probably not find anyone better than Peter for all those reasons.
Yeah. And what about other footy? Who's the best player you saw to sort of outside when you played that higher level footy? You know, is there anyone that sort of comes to mind?
There's a guy playing out at Layla, and I was out there at 34 or something.
Yeah.
And his name was Mario Cipolla. They called him Jezza for a very good reason, and he could run with his knuckles dragging on the ground all day.
Yeah.
And he won a Smith Medal, which is the best and fairest out there. And I didn't go out there till 1980 or something, and I was 34 or something then. And I watched him week in, week out playing in the same team, and I thought, geez, I'm glad I didn't have to play on you in my youth because you would have tidied me right up.
Yeah, right.
But he was a good player, a great player. But when you've played with a lot of teams and certainly 11 teams, you see a lot of good players.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to ask you this question. I ask this to all the guys because my theory is footy is 10% skill and 90% what's up between the ears. So did you have any sort of pre or post game rituals before you play?
Oh, a couple of silly ones. Yep. I'd always tie my bootlaces the same way. Yep. My bootlaces always got tied exactly the same way, which was highly unconventional, but that was what I always did. And of course, when I was coaching, it wasn't practical and I couldn't do it. But when I was playing, I used to like to get on my own and meditate for 5 or 10 minutes before the game and get away from everyone. I just sort of wanted to be reclusive and think about it, to be left alone with my thoughts.
Yeah, that's way before your time.
Exactly. Yeah. Were you a socks up man or socks down man?
No, socks up always. Jumper tucked in always.
Yep.
I had a fair ego. I know you probably find that hard to believe, but I did.
Most of the people on here do, don't they? We had the 3 Fanning boys on last week. We couldn't get them off, could we?
And I always said to my son, when you run out there, remember, if you're going to run out there looking like everyone's come to look at you. Don't get around with your socks down and your jumper hanging out and all the rest. Yeah. But I always... Mind you, I got untidy at times. I spilled a lot of blood and that sort of thing. That didn't do much for me.
You're dirty once in a while.
That's it.
Goal kicker. So you kicked a few goals over there. What's the biggest bag? Do you remember the biggest bag you kicked?
I kicked 13 one day playing with Layla on Lee Adamson from Collingwood, which... I normally like to stop the story there, but I'll tell you the truth. I found out later on he had a torn groin.
Don't spoil it.
That old chestnut.
But you had two, apparently.
It took the gloss right off it, but nonetheless, I'll stick with the first bit.
Do you want to ask a story about him and Oaksy?
I do want to, because we're going to wind it up soon.
Yeah, what about Oaksy and I?
Yeah, come on.
Well, I rang you the other week to get in touch, and we spoke about one certain character. We didn't never mention. The first thing you said to me, old school, is no names, no pack drills. The guy with the suit.
Oh.
And did you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
And for most people who don't know, and people feel
yeah.
A lot of Paran guys come down from Dingas, so we had a lot of characters, for what you'd say, called characters. Very colourful characters.
Oh, yes. Well, there was a situation where we were looking at, trying to get into that grand final, and we got some guys, for whatever reason, we got some guys from Paran, the VFA team.
Yeah.
There's about 6 of them, varying levels of skill. Some of them were all right too. And one night we were training, and one of the guys there who was particularly well dressed, always well dressed, came in, hung his suit up on the peg, and we didn't think any more about it. And I came back into the rooms, and Oaksy was in there at the time. Pete and I were both in there at the time. He said, "Have a look at this." And he peeled the jacket back a little bit, and here's the shoulder holster with the 38 in it. Oh. So I guess he wasn't a policeman.
Unless he was undercover. I'd hate to guess that it wouldn't be the only time that someone's come prepared for a bit of trouble. I remember one of the stories was they used to come down from Paran and they'd steal the cars and turn up on a Saturday. On Sunday morning, there'd be another half a dozen cars still there because they get their own way home. So basically, and that's a true story. The club was built on some renegades and characters.
Yeah, exactly.
And the one thing this club's I've always prided it is they've always let everyone in. They've never judged where you come from or who you are or how rich you are or how intelligent. They've just basically let you in, and it's always been the same way. So, and to me, it's been great growing up here because you met a lot of characters. You also learnt respect. I remember as a kid, you'd shut up until you talked to, and you learn a bit of respect. And then you got older, and you fitted in, and it all flowed down. So that's a great thing. I mean, And that's the way it was. Different days, but there's plenty of stories.
Yeah.
Some we can tell and some we can't tell.
Yeah,
Exactly.
when you were younger and playing like your sort of early years of footy, was there anyone that sort of, because I know I did, most of the guys here, you'll see here, the older blokes, we all played senior footy down here when we were 16 because we had to. There was no, we were pushed into it. We had to. We just didn't have the numbers or the skill or... was there anyone that sort of took you under their wing when you're sort of growing up and showed you how to fight, or did you sort of learn that yourself?
Well, I guess you learn that sort of thing living in West Heidelberg in the housing commission area. But
early education.
Yeah. But no, I can't really think of anyone in particular. My first senior coach was a man named Keith Robbins, who played at Fitzroy. He was also a champion water polo player, which is probably irrelevant, but he was a man I looked at and I thought, this is what tough is.
Yeah.
It's not punching someone, it's putting your head down and getting the ball when you know everyone's going to try to punch you.
Yeah.
And he, in the first 2 years when I was 16 and 17 and very impressionable, he taught me what the true meaning of tough is, because he'd put his head down every year and every week, and every week they'd thump him, and he'd be bleeding and all the rest, but he'd still get kicks and he'd still set an example for his team.
Exactly.
So he was probably one that but I believe that especially in your formative years, whatever coach you have, you take something from them that you like, and I had some reasonably good coaches, and I like to think I took a little bit from what I liked about each one of them. Yeah.
No, it's excellent. It's a really good story too about that as well. That shapes your life, doesn't it? Exactly what you said. You take that little bit of advice from people growing up, and it forms yourself and makes yourself an individual.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Absolutely. But like, to go back to Jock, Jock and I, he coached me for years, and I've known that family for all my life.
Yeah.
We had plenty of run-ins. I was the smart ass and tried to put one over him, and I'd hide in the drain when they used to have a drain around the back, hide in the drain when they were doing laps and stuff. Hey, he spotted me from a mile away. But I tried to get away with stuff, and he pulled me up on it.
Yeah.
But he taught me stuff. He taught me a bit of respect, and mate, that's not cool. And you know what? You let your teammates down.
Yeah.
And so you grow up with those things that you learn off different people, and hopefully you take it on in your life and learn a few things. So.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for joining us.
Can't thank you enough for coming down.
Pleasure.
It's
Amazing.
been great to meet up with you again. Haven't seen you for a long time. Like I said, it's pretty cool for me personally. It's been a bit self-indulgent the last few weeks
Yeah.
to have not only yourself and the great man over there. I love as a kid watching up.
Yep.
Watching you play, and thanks very much. I can't thank you enough for your time tonight, Keith.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure.
fantastic.
No worries, mate.
It's really good. Thank you. Yeah, big hand.
Good on you, mate.
Keith Robbins, everyone.
Absolute superstar.
Ah, fantastic.
Oh, that was fantastic.
We've got another legend coming on.
Yeah, another legend coming on. Yeah, thanks for that.
How we? What are we going? We got left anything?
What Daz Reynolds, if he's around somewhere?
22, Daz?
Does he come around? You got 22? He's jumping off.
You've had 3 hours.
Yeah, we're
22 players.
So we've changed.
Daz, hang on a second. What's he wearing?
I don't know. Hey,
What's going on here?
He's got the old jumper on as well.
Hey! Seriously?
How did you end up with number 6? I thought you were 99.
Hey, if we've got anyone from Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig watching tonight, any chance anyone from Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers can lipe or suck about 30 kilos? Seriously, he's older than I am.
Come on.
I'm the fattest man in the world at the moment.
I'm 5 kilos over when we're playing weight. So.
So am I. On about each part of my body.
Just those that don't know you, you played 1,000 games at the Heights. You must be a record holder. I think you played third, seconds, and first. Did you play three games every weekend?
I call him. He's the Benjamin Button.
Benjamin
of local
Button.
football.
Yeah.
He's like Peter Pan in tight shorts.
Benjamin Button. I was going to say bench button because I spent most of those games on the bench.
I do want to tell one story because when I found some pages out of Jock's book the other day, I posted it, and Daz, I think I was full back. Daz was centre half back. We played Cranbourne. The guy and me kicked either 15. The guy and Daz kicked 10. I'll take the 15. I'll try and be humble. And we both, this is a true story, we walked off that shitty Cranbourne and arm in arm going, how many Daz? Yeah, so I got 10 on me, I got 15 on me. And this is a true story, the blokes who kicked the goals on us were arm in arm behind us. And they go, how many did you? He goes, I got 15. He goes, I got 10. Right behind us. It was just incredibly embarrassing. But you know what? We got smashed. I actually got a McDonald's award from Jock. I won a junior burger award because I think I got a sore foot because I had like 26 kickouts. And I think I had 27 in the game. 26 kickouts, one, I had my own. But we still turned back up on Tuesday night to play again.
And isn't it funny we call them the good old days? Fuck by 50, good old days.
So you're a premiership player, a life member down here?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. A man of many words. So thanks for joining us.
Are you related, you two?
I've got you to do the best 22 tonight. We've changed it up this week. We've got the boys to get one together. Have you got any memories of Jock McGregor at all that you'd like to share?
Jock McGregor, look, you said to try and think of something funny about Jock. All I had with Jock was just respect.
Yeah.
He was our second father. Every kid down there looked up to him as a father. My one memory of Jock always was the handshake, the over the top, and the knuckle cruncher. He gave you that one. It was just, how are you, son? You know,
that's it. We go with the big woolen jackets and the gumboots and the cap and the weird stuff he used to do, but there's too many stories.
But just so much respect for the man. I mean, like I said, he's everyone's second father down there.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about your racehorse, but not your actual racehorse. Your son, he's a third generation.
Connor,
Third generation Reynolds.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what else he does outside of football. So he represented Australia in the 2018 Under-21 World Deaf Basketball Championship in Washington, D.C. So tell us a little bit about that, how he's enjoying his footy, how he's transitioned from basketball to footy, and also he's a really gifted long-distance runner, much like our old man as well.
Yeah, he ran, he did a lot of state running. He was always into athletics. He's very quick over the 100 as well. So probably from me chasing him around the house when he's a little shit. Yeah, I'd never really encouraged him to play footy when he was young because he's hearing impaired, he's deaf. Every time he gets a blow to the head, he loses a little bit more hearing. Yeah. So he played junior football, and I said, let's have a go at this basketball game. And he got into it. He enjoyed it, and like I said, he got to represent Australia, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Went to America, got over there, and I sent you a couple of photos of him with the Americans, and he comes up to about their hip.
I just seen a photo. Is he in the dwarf games, or those guys are incredibly tall?
Yeah, I think he sort of realised unless you're big in this game, you're not going to be big in the game. So he got back and said, well, Dad, I might have a crack at the football. What do you think? And I said, I tried to talk him out of it. I said, if you're going to play, you got to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
And I thought that would stop him. And he said, okay. All right, that's a condition.
Kids.
All right, I'll wear a helmet. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But
just said a Phil Narkle helmet.
Chuffed watching him out there, and his first season last year, like I said, his first senior football. He's slowly picking up the game. It's completely different for him.
Yeah.
That transition from basketball, where you pass the ball in basketball and you push off for the next play. And you've got to try and explain to him. In football, you don't do that. When you pass the ball to someone, you've got to get over there and help them.
Yeah.
And, get alongside them because they're not going to take the ball, and you've got to support your teammate. He was doing that. He was giving the ball off and then pushing down for a next play. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But his running ability, I think, once he picks up the game, where to go, and I saw that at the end of the season, and even this year when the first practice game we played out there, he's starting to pick it up. But I think with a young coach too, that with Bully and Adam Hamilton, I reckon he's great with the kids too. I'm a rap for Adam. I think he'll teach these young kids where to go, how to play. So exciting.
That's good.
Love it.
Yeah, I always thought he'll end up being a great tagger because he's got the gadget arms, he's got the endurance.
Yeah, well, that's how he played his basketball. He was pretty much the tagger, the stopper, getting in between the big boys and trying to get intercepts, and he loves that stuff.
Yep, that's excellent.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, look, he's going to be a better player than his old man. That's one thing.
But has he got the longevity?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah.
So you want this?
Only because we want it, and I'm freezing right now.
Tell us a bit about it. Tell us.
We've got converted nipples.
You called it the best 22 concrete boots team.
Concrete boots team.
But we changed it to we give it a bit more class. We call it the high and mighty team.
Am I on the bench?
We don't want to talk anyone down. It's a high and mighty team. So from the back line, a few blokes might get upset their names get read out.
Mate, I'll be proud.
But, well, you're in the team. From the back line, Barebums Brereton.
Yes. Barebums.
Some of those guys I don't know, but Papa assures me they were quite largesse. Knox True, fullback.
Noxie.
Remember Andrew Gibson, Gibbo?
Gibbo, everyone knows Gibbo, yep.
This one I'm a little bit worried about. Puppet's put in James Matthew on the half-back line.
Harsh but fair.
He wasn't that large when he played.
Harsh but fair.
Another bloke.
It's a retrospective game.
Another bloke who might be too happy. Dinger Davies.
Dinger Davies. Oh, we like that. Hey, listen, Dinger.
And Papa has named Leith Waits on the half-back line as captain. Well, sweet. Sorry, Thwaites, you want to... Paul Oakley on the wing.
Yep.
Our own Greg Brown.
Oh, Brownie. Listen to Brownie. He's probably gone to bed, has he?
Bear Brown. Al Golden on the other wing.
Golden, yep.
Toddy Pegram. You get in there. On the half forward. Paul Foote, he mightn't be happy about that.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Mick Badger Greeley.
Greeley, yeah.
I'm Mike. Sean McDonough, another Bear.
Yeah, the other Bear.
Big Dave Pacey.
Oh, but Al's a certainty.
He should be captain, I reckon.
Neil Lockhart squeezed himself into the forward pocket.
Squeezed. That's a good word.
Rucks, Graham Brutus Knight.
Oh, what a champion. Number 25. What do you remember?
Ted O'Brien.
Actually, before you go
Ryan
there,
Flack.
Daz.
Yes,
sorry, mate. Knighty could play ruck, rover, back. He could play all those positions.
And he could count. He's a good accountant.
Do it well.
Yeah. He could add up those goals.
He could, yeah.
Interchange.
Probably he can't count that well.
Interchange. Ronnie Condy.
Ronnie Condy, yeah.
Son of Brad Lockhart gets a go.
Sorry, Daz. I might interrupt again. I remember Ronnie Condy. One day I'm coming down, the 18s are playing. And like, we're in the seniors by now. Anyway, we're looking at the 18s. Looking, Ronnie Condy's 34, and he's playing in the under 18s. I don't know what's going on there.
No birth certificate.
no boot, yeah, right there.
Keep going with interchange. Yeah. Buffer Baxter, Paul O'Toole,
what
Steve
about
Catt.
O'Toole? The Catter.
Adam
sorry,
Hugh.
Daz, sorry to interrupt. the Catter could have been anything. I'm not joking. That kid, he could kick like a mule if he knew it.
My guess is he could eat as well if he's made this team.
That's probably right, mate. Yeah.
James Ralph.
Ralphie.
Steve Quinn.
Steve Quinn. He can move. Nickname was Motion.
Motion Quinn.
Is that why? Was he weighed down because of all the Elastopass tape?
He did tell me once that he almost got a girl pregnant. I don't know how that story ended.
It was called Poetry in Motion. Hang on, sorry, Daz, I've got a bit of this. I like this kind of stuff. But anyway, there was one thing. Quinny, he'd done nothing. He played footy. He played footy when he was 18. He was another Ronnie Condy as a 15-year-old. I think he done the old dodgy birth certificate. But he'd say, "You ain't seen nothing like the mighty Quinn." Sorry, that's yeah.
All right, what about Wacko? We just remember Big Wacko.
We don't
know his name.
Raymond, that's it. Raymond.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Nicole.
Raymond Wacko Wanyua.
There we go.
Coach Brad Canavan.
Oh, yeah.
Wiggy.
Water Boys, Paul Fox, Paul Larkin.
Lux.
Trainer.
You weren't thirsty.
We've got trainers, Jack Dobby and Les Box. And, of course, chairman of selectors, the great Humphrey Brian.
Humphrey.
So
You'll be okay.
That's the high and mighty team.
High and mighty, I love it. We'll try to get the mosquito squad next week. The mosquito squad. The boys that could run.
The boys that could run.
Yeah,
yes.
the boys that can
I
run.
reckon Slasher's the first upper.
The Slashers in there.
Graham.
Robbie Hammond.
Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie
he
Hammond could run.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the old Teddy Woodhead?
Oh, yeah.
Teddy Woodhead. Redmonds, the
Yes,
Redmonds.
that's right. Danny
Oh,
Dog
Joey and Johnny.
Joey Redmond. He could run.
Dandy Dolly's brash dash. Bring it back from Dingley Dandy Dollar dash. We're a certainty, aren't we?
Wind it up.
Time for Dave's joke. Dave's joke. Dave's joke.
Before Dave's joke,
Thank you, boys.
Yeah.
hang on. Next week, there'll be a few more special guests on the show. And Daz will be back. And
We're taking over.
and Grantley doing a beautiful job. And
You dress up as Todd and I'll dress up as Grant.
we could do that.
Slugga, you're on telly.
I'll tell you what. I reckon Pigo could be taking over the podcast. What's that NRL bloke? The two brothers.
Matty Johns.
The Johns.
Johns.
Oh, he's a cert.
Yeah.
But there's another special guest week. A special guest next week. Damien Slugga, he played a few years down here. And he's going to pop in. And he's going to have a little chat to Smutley. Yeah. Paul Smutley Smith. So we'll wind it up. Sorry, Coach.
Dave's joke. Dave's joke. Go on, Dave.
G'day.
Ah, Dave.
How you going?
How you going? Nice to meet you.
You too, buddy.
Yeah. All right, bit of shush. We'll see you, Dave's joke.
It's good to have you on the show, Dave. Now, you've got
Thank
a tough
you.
crowd, so I want to be
Oh,
a
no.
crowd.
It's a tough
But you'll be
crowd, all
just
right.
shit can in about 30
We need some
seconds after
chicken
this.
wire. We need the chicken wire.
Yeah, like the Blues Brothers.
And Western.
We've got two types of music, yeah.
All right, Dave,
You ready to go?
Let it rip.
Let it rip, mate.
I was at the pool the other day and I decided to have a sneaky piss in the deep end. And the guard must have seen me because he blew his whistle that loud. I fucking shit myself and nearly fell in. That's the one, and then I got another one for you.
I just want to say, I think you balls that up.
No, I didn't.
To say you're at the pool and you're just having a wee, and then you. Anyway, we'll replay that.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll do that again.
Can we do that again?
I'm assured the second one's better.
Do it again. Anyway, Paddy's back in Ireland and he goes into the spud paddock with the steamroller. And Mick says, for fuck's sake, what are you doing, Paddy? He says, I'm making fucking mashed potatoes, you silly. I can't say the C word, can I?
Cabbage.
Well, that's two. Is that enough?
One more. Come on, come up with a good one.
Well, I can tell you the snails joke because I'm on camera. Paddy's going to work and in the morning his wife grabs him by the throat and said, right, Patrick, you bastard, the relatives from France are coming for dinner. And as you know, they eat snails and after work you've got to go to the market, get a bag of snails and come home. If you go to the pub, I'll fucking tell you. He says, righto. So he goes to the market, kilo of snails, going home, goes past his local, he says, fuck it, I'll just have one. So he has one beer and then he has another one and next minute he looks at the clock and it's 10 to 6, it's fucking going to be till for sure. So he grabs his bag of snails and he's walking home and as you know in Ireland, the front door's right on the footpath. It's a good crowd here, I tell you. Anyway, the bag breaks, there's snails everywhere at his feet. And he goes, oh no. With that, the light goes on, the door bursts open, the wife comes out, she grabs him by the throat, she says, Patrick, you bastard, she said, you better have a good fucking excuse or I'm going to fucking kill you. And he goes, come on, lads, we're almost home. There you go.
And that's the end of it.
Let's do the hidey, everyone.
Grow your business with social videos. It's not an option anymore. As humans, we're hardwired to absorb story. Video is where story thrives. Storytelling in video ultimately provides more opportunity for your audience to develop a strong connection to your product. Social media demands content. Let Major Tom Media create social video content for your business and watch your engagement grow. Go to majortommedia.com and become irresistible to your audience.